Welcome back, deep divers. We're diving deep today, and I mean deep, into a system for living known as Ánanda Márga.
Sounds intriguing. I know a little bit about it, actually. Path of Bliss, right?
You got it. Ánanda Bliss, Marga path. In Sanskrit, it really lays it out there.
And who doesn't want bliss? I think that's something we all crave on some level. That deep, lasting happiness.
Absolutely. Like our source material says, everyone wants to be truly happy. But the thing is, it seems like those little bursts of joy, we get that new car smell, a delicious meal, they always fade.
Right. Limited experiences can only ever give us limited happiness.
It makes you wonder if there's something more, a way to tap into that infinite wellspring of joy, that true, lasting bliss.
Well, that's exactly what Ánanda Márga promises. This deep dive, we're exploring how it's not just a philosophy, but a whole way of life designed to help you reach that ultimate state of peace and happiness, what they call self-realization.
Like a roadmap to bliss.
Precisely. And what's really interesting is it combines this systematic approach with a kind of scientific methodology to address all facets of human existence, the physical, mental, and spiritual.
A holistic system.
Definitely. And it does so through both introversial and intuitive practices, a wide range, really, from basic personal hygiene and powerful yoga to selflessly serving others and, of course, deep meditation.
I'm seeing a pattern here. This isn't about escaping the world, is it? It's about elevating ourselves in every sphere of life.
Yeah.
As individuals and as a collective.
You're picking up on a key theme. Ánanda Márga's vision encompasses social progress, economic well-being, intellectual development, and of course, spiritual awakening, all interconnected.
It's ambitious.
Yeah.
And it's not just theory. The material highlights their global network of centers and the incredible range of welfare projects they're involved in. Not just for humans, but for animals, plants, even the planet itself.
That speaks volumes about their core philosophy of universalism, recognizing that one limitless supreme consciousness as God and all beings as part of one cosmic family. It's beautiful, really.
A vision of unity, woven into the very fabric of their motto, for self-realization and the welfare of the universe.
Striking that essential balance between our inner spiritual lives and our outer worldly existence. So, are you ready to unpack the key components of this path of bliss as outlined in our sources?
Absolutely. Let's start with a figure who's central to so many spiritual traditions, the guru.
Okay, so in Sanskrit, guru literally translates to one who dispels the darkness of ignorance from the mind.
And in the deepest sense, it's not just any teacher. In Ánanda Márga, the guru is seen as an enlightened spiritual master, guiding others toward enlightenment.
Essentially Brahma, the cosmic entity itself. The one who is great and makes others great.
That's a powerful concept. So the guru isn't just imparting knowledge, but actually embodying the very essence of cosmic consciousness and inspiration.
Exactly. And their teaching goes beyond words. They inspire by example, leading both individuals and society as a whole toward the highest goal in life. It's a vital role.
Speaking of inspiration, we can't talk about Ánanda Márga without mentioning the one who brought these principles and practices together, Sri Anandamurti.
Ah, yes, Prapat Ranjan Sarkar. Anandamurti itself is beautiful, the embodiment of bliss.
His teachings are vast. The Ánanda Márga publications cover an incredible range of topics, from the mystical and cosmological to the social, historical, educational, you name it.
He was incredibly prolific, too. Over 100 books, thousands of discourses, and get this, over 5,000 mystical songs known as Prapat Samjita.
We'll definitely have to explore those later, but it's clear his contribution is enormous, and it seems like we're still uncovering the full value of his teachings.
It's an ongoing revelation. I love that quote from him. I am a mystery, I was a mystery, and I will always be a mystery.
So true. That sense of mystery is part of what makes this whole spiritual journey so captivating. Well, let's get down to the practical side. How do you actually start walking this path? What are the foundations?
Yama and Niyama, the bedrock of Ánanda Márga practice.
So being a good person is the first step.
In a way, yes. It's about establishing a balanced life system and preparing the mind for deeper practices like meditation. But it's important to note, morality isn't the end goal, it's the foundation. Like preparing the soil before planting a seed.
I like that analogy.
Think of them as like the blueprints for ethical and fulfilling living. It definitely highlights that dedication needed, like these Yama and Niyama principles.
Right.
They aren't just like these abstract concepts, they're practical guidelines. Yama focuses on how we interact with the world. For example, ahimsa is about non-harming.
Right.
Not just physically, but even in thought.
Oh.
So gossiping about a coworker, not exactly aligning with ahimsa.
Makes you think twice about those little choices we make every day, right?
Right. Then there's satya, truthfulness that aims to help others.
Okay.
And asteya, which goes beyond not stealing physical things to fairness in all dealings. Imagine applying asteya to your online shopping habits, choosing fair trade or ethically sourced products.
Interesting.
How would that shift your perspective?
Yeah, it's like those everyday actions become infused with deeper meaning.
Right.
And what about the other two Yama principles?
We've got brahmacharya, cultivating unity with all beings,
Okay.
recognizing that interconnectedness Ánanda Márga emphasizes.
Uh-huh.
And aparigraha, embracing simple living and contentment instead of chasing material things.
Yeah.
Like, how relevant is that in today's consumer-driven world?
Super relevant. It's like a breath of fresh air in a world obsessed with more. Okay, so that's Yama.
Right.
What about Niyama?
Uh-huh.
It shifts the focus inward, right?
Exactly. Niyama is all about self-regulation.
Okay.
Shosha, for instance, is about purity, both physical and mental.
Mm-hmm.
It's recognizing that what we consume, whether it's food or information, affects us deeply.
Makes sense.
Then there's Santosha, cultivating contentment and inner peace, regardless of external circumstances.
Yeah, I'm sensing a theme here. Inner transformation as the key to lasting happiness.
Yes. Then we have Tapa, which might surprise you.
Yep.
It's about social service, helping others as a way to purify the mind.
Really?
It's a powerful reminder that true happiness comes from giving and contributing to something larger than ourselves.
What a beautiful concept.
Yeah,
It flips the script on self-improvement, doesn't it?
it does. And the last two Niyama principles
Okay.
are Svadhyaya, choosing uplifting content to nourish the mind,
Right.
and Ishvara Pranadhana, the practice of meditation, which lies at the heart of this path.
So we've got the foundation with Yama and Niyama.
Right?
What's next on this path of bliss?
Before diving into specific practices, let's visualize it.
Ooh, I like it.
The Ánanda Márga emblem, called pratik,
Okay.
it isn't just a symbol.
No.
It's a visual representation of the whole path.
I love visuals. What does it look like?
So imagine two triangles,
Okay.
one pointing up, symbolizing action in the world,
Okay.
and the other pointing down, representing inner knowledge.
Gotcha.
They're balanced, highlighting the harmony between action and knowledge that the path cultivates. It's not about retreating from the world,
Right.
but finding that sweet spot between inner growth and outer engagement.
So it encourages us to be active participants in the world while nurturing our inner selves.
Exactly. There's also a rising sun, symbolizing the growth of devotion, and a swastika representing perfection.
Okay.
Now, I know that symbol can be controversial,
Yeah.
but in this context, it's about achieving complete spiritual victory,
Right.
a state of good existence, as the original Sanskrit meaning suggests.
I see. It's like a visual reminder of the journey itself, of the
Right.
principles at play in our lives.
Yeah.
So how does one formally embark on this path?
It begins with initiation,
Okay.
where you receive a personal mantra
Oh.
said to awaken latent spiritual potential.
Interesting.
Traditionally, this is done by a guru,
Right.
but nowadays it's often conducted by trained teachers called acharyas.
An acharya isn't just a teacher. They embody the teachings, right?
Precisely.
Okay.
While the guru may not be physically present,
Right.
their spiritual power is still considered active in the process, especially through the mantra.
Speaking of mantras, let's talk about the meditation practices in Ánanda Márga.
Okay,
It's not just one technique, is it?
right. There are 6 distinct lessons,
Wow.
each building upon the previous one.
Okay. Hit me with the wisdom.
Right.
What are these 6 lessons all about?
The first lesson focuses on directing the mind towards the goal,
Okay.
using a personal mantra
Uh-huh.
and practicing shuddhis
Sure.
techniques for withdrawing the mind from external distractions.
Gotcha.
It's like quieting the mental chatter
Yeah.
to connect with that deeper consciousness.
So it's like training ourselves to tune out the noise and tune into our inner selves.
Exactly. The second lesson takes that focus and applies it to everyday life,
Okay.
bringing mindful awareness to all actions.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about meditating for an hour.
Oh.
It's about integrating that awareness into everything you do.
It's like turning everyday life into a spiritual practice.
Precisely. The third lesson focuses on strengthening the mind
Okay.
through Tattvadharana, which involves concentrating on chakras
Okay.
or psychic energy centers in the body.
Gotcha.
For those unfamiliar, imagine these chakras as energy centers along the spine
Yeah.
each associated with specific aspects of our being.
Makes sense.
By focusing on them, you can gain greater control over your mind and body.
So it's like working with our body's energy system to enhance our mental and physical well-being.
Yes. And that control becomes crucial for the later lessons.
Okay.
The fourth lesson introduces a breathing technique
Right.
called sadharana pranayama,
Okay.
which helps calm and focus the mind. Breathwork is a staple in many traditions because it directly connects to the mind.
Yeah.
When your breath is erratic, your mind is likely scattered.
Right.
But when your breath is slow and steady,
Yeah.
your mind becomes more focused and peaceful.
It's like finding that inner stillness through the breath.
Right.
Okay, what about the last two lessons?
The fifth lesson, chakra shodhana, is about purifying those energy centers,
Okay.
which is said to energize the body with cosmic ideation.
Interesting.
And finally, the sixth lesson, Guru Dhyana,
Okay.
is considered the highest teaching,
Right.
guiding the mind toward the supreme through an uninterrupted flow of awareness. It's like a step-by-step process of refining focus and deepening connection with that ultimate source of consciousness.
Wow, it's like a whole system for tuning in and amplifying our spiritual awareness.
Yeah,
Are there any other practices that support this inner journey?
absolutely.
Okay.
Kirtan and Prapat Samjita play beautiful roles in this journey.
Okay.
Kirtan is the chanting of the mantra, Baba Nam Kevalam,
Okay.
meaning, my most beloved is the only one.
It's beautiful.
It's about engaging all the senses to prepare the mind for meditation.
It sounds like a beautiful way to connect to that universal love.
Yeah.
And what about Prabhat Samjita?
Prapat Samjita is a collection of mystical songs
Okay.
composed by Sri Ánanda Márga himself.
Really?
They are meant to inspire, uplift, and connect you with that deeper spiritual essence.
I'm starting to see how all these different elements weave together to form this multifaceted path of bliss.
And there's even more.
What?
Remember those 16 points we mentioned earlier?
Oh, yeah.
Think of them as practical guidelines
Okay.
for integrating these principles into everyday life.
Oh, yeah. They cover so much.
They do.
From hygiene to diet to social service. It's almost overwhelming how detailed they are.
It's fascinating, right?
Yeah.
They cover everything from specific instructions on post-urination hygiene
What?
and reasons for not cutting armpit or pubic hair
Really?
to detailed steps for a half bath that incorporates the dive reflex. It's incredible how seemingly mundane actions are linked to overall well-being in this system.
Wait, dive reflex. Now I'm really curious.
Right. It's that physiological response when you submerge your face in cold water.
Right.
Your heart rate slows,
Okay.
and blood flow redirects to vital organs.
Okay.
Ánanda Márga suggests incorporating this into your daily cleansing routine.
Wow, that's a whole new level of thinking about self-care.
Right.
What else stands out to you from the 16 points?
The dietary guidelines are fascinating.
Okay.
They categorize foods as sentient, mutative, and static,
Right.
emphasizing the impact of what we eat on our minds and bodies.
Yeah.
And there's specific guidance on fasting, particularly on Ekadashi days,
Okay.
which fall on the 11th day after the new and full moons.
Fasting. That seems intense. Why is it recommended?
It's about more than just abstaining from food.
Okay.
It's about reducing mental and physical pressure,
Right.
detoxifying the body,
Yeah.
and strengthening willpower.
So it's like hitting the reset button for the mind and body.
Exactly. And then we have sadhana,
Mm-hmm.
encompassing all the spiritual practices,
Okay.
including meditation, asanas, and service.
Gotcha.
It also expands on niyama principles,
Okay.
like sarvatmaka socha, pervasive cleanliness extending beyond personal hygiene to our environment.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a ripple effect. Inner purity reflected in how we treat our surroundings.
That's a beautiful thought.
Mhm.
And it seems like service, or tapa,
Yes,
plays a big role here as well.
absolutely. The 16 points delve deeper into tapa,
Yep.
highlighting different forms,
Mm-hmm.
from helping those in need to protecting others from harm,
Right.
to simply contributing to the intellectual and spiritual growth of others.
Okay.
It encourages finding your own way to contribute to the well-being of others.
It's like empowering everyone to become a force for good in the world. What else is there?
Well, this is where things get interesting.
Okay.
Have you heard of Kaoshiki and Tandava?
Those sound like something straight out of a mystical adventure. What are they?
They are dances, but with specific purposes.
Okay.
Kaoshiki is a dance-like exercise said to cultivate a sense of mysticism and self-confidence with particular benefits for women.
Really?
It involves graceful movements and synchronized breathing, almost like a moving meditation.
I can already picture our listener trying this out in their living room.
Right.
What about Socio-economic Tandava?
This one is more vigorous, with jumps and kicks. It's said to remove fear, develop courage, and even improve memory.
Really?
However, it's specifically recommended for men due to its effects on the glandular system.
This path definitely seems to encourage pushing beyond your comfort zone.
Absolutely. And we haven't even touched upon the philosophy behind all this. It's pretty mind-blowing stuff.
Lead the way. I'm ready to dive deep into the philosophy of Ánanda Márga.
At its core, the philosophy of Ánanda Márga centers on the understanding that God is one, and the universe is a manifestation of his thought waves.
Wow.
Sri Anandamurti describes this supreme entity as the subtlest of the subtle, farther away than any other entity.
Okay.
But again, he is nearer than the nearest.
That's beautiful imagery.
Right.
It suggests the divine is both transcendent and immanent, beyond our grasp, yet within us at the same time.
Yes. To understand this further, we need to explore the concept of Brahma Chakra, the cosmic cycle, which governs the universe through continuous creation and dissolution.
Gotcha.
Think of it like an intricate cosmic dance between consciousness and energy.
Okay, I'm ready to have my mind blown.
Okay.
Break it down for us.
Imagine Puroa representing pure consciousness and Prakriti representing the force that brings the universe into being.
Okay.
Think of a potter shaping clay.
Yeah.
Puriya is the potter, the conscious creator.
Gotcha.
And Prakriti is the clay, the creative force being molded.
So it's like the masculine and feminine principles working together to manifest reality.
Exactly.
Okay.
Prakriti has three qualities, or guas.
Okay.
Sentient, mutative, and static. These guas interact with Puriya to create the 5 fundamental factors of the universe.
Wow.
Ethereal, aerial, luminous, liquid, and solid.
Okay, that's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
How do these factors relate to our everyday experience?
Well, each factor is formed from the one before it.
Okay.
So aerial comes from ethereal, luminous from aerial, and so on.
Gotcha.
Because of this, everything in the universe contains the essence of everything else.
Wow.
We are literally made of stardust, connected to every other being and object in existence.
Wow, that's incredible. It makes you appreciate the interconnectedness of everything.
Absolutely. And this interconnectedness extends to our minds.
Okay.
The Ánanda Márga system suggests the human mind is a miniature version of the cosmic mind.
So our individual consciousness is like a tiny spark of that universal consciousness.
Yes.
Okay.
As we evolve, our minds undergo pratisanchara, where the power of Prakriti gradually diminishes, and we move closer to merging back with the pure consciousness of Puriya.
Gotcha.
It's like a journey back to our source, returning to that state of unity from which we originated.
That's such a profound concept. And what drives this journey back to our source?
It's fueled by bhakti,
Okay.
meaning devotion or love for the infinite. It's that yearning to connect with the ultimate source of being,
Right.
to transcend our limited sense of self and experience the bliss of unity.
That's a beautiful concept.
Right.
How does this devotion manifest in practice?
Through samadhi,
Okay.
meaning absorption in the cosmic consciousness.
Right.
There are different types of samadhi, but they all involve a profound experience of union with the divine.
Okay.
It's like reaching that state of oneness that mystics and spiritual seekers throughout history have described.
It sounds like a truly transcendent experience.
It is. Ánanda Márga provides specific techniques to help practitioners achieve this state,
Okay.
even differentiating between types of samadhi, like savikalpa, where there's still a sense of individuality,
Okay.
and nirvikalpa, which is complete absorption in the supreme consciousness,
Gotcha.
a state of pure bliss beyond description.
Wow, it's hard to even fathom such a state.
Exactly. Even though we can't fully grasp it intellectually,
Right.
the path offers a way to experience this bliss firsthand.
Okay, I'm starting to grasp the depth and complexity of this spiritual philosophy.
Yeah.
But Ánanda Márga isn't just about personal liberation, is it? There's a strong emphasis on social philosophy as well.
Absolutely. In fact, the motto of Ánanda Márga is self-realization and the welfare of the universe.
It's about finding that balance between inner transformation and outer contribution, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And this is where the concept of Neohumanism comes in.
All right, I'm ready to learn more. What is Neohumanism all about?
Neohumanism expands on the idea of humanism to include all beings,
Cool.
humans, animals, plants, the entire planet.
Wow.
It's about recognizing the interconnectedness of everything and cultivating love and compassion that extends beyond our limited human perspective.
It's like expanding our circle of concern to encompass all of life.
Yes, and it's not just about warm, fuzzy feelings.
All right.
It emphasizes rationality and ethical action. It encourages us to use our intellect to discern right from wrong,
Right.
move beyond dogma and prejudice, and work towards a just and equitable society for all.
That's inspiring. It seems like a powerful antidote to the division and conflict we see in the world today.
Right.
But how do we overcome the limiting sentiments that prevent us from embracing this broader perspective?
The path suggests using steady rationality and conscience to counter geo-sentiment or attachment to a particular place,
Right.
socio-sentiment or attachment to a specific group. Okay.
Is countered by the principle of sama-sama tattva, emphasizing social equality and working towards the welfare of all.
Okay.
And finally, human sentiment, which can lead to exploitation and anthropocentrism,
Right.
is countered by training the mind, cultivating vigilance, and actively opposing injustice.
It's like a call to conscious evolution, to move beyond our limited egocentric perspectives and embrace a more inclusive and compassionate way of being.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And this brings us to the concept of sadvipras,
Sadvipras.
morally elevated leaders who are essential for social well-being.
Wait, Sadvipras, can you unpack that a little?
Sure.
Why are they so important?
Think of sadvipras as morally elevated leaders who embody the principles of neo-humanism
Right.
and are dedicated to the well-being of all.
Gotcha.
They can be teachers, artists, activists, anyone using their influence for positive change.
Okay.
It's about leadership grounded in ethics,
Right.
wisdom, and compassion. It's like a call for a new kind of leadership, one that prioritizes the collective good over personal gain.
Exactly. And that brings us to another important piece, Prout,
Prout.
which stands for Progressive Utilization Theory.
Okay.
It's Ánanda Márga's socioeconomic model,
Gotcha.
and it's quite revolutionary.
Okay. Prout sounds intriguing. What can you tell us about it?
Prout is rooted in spirituality, but offers practical solutions for a just and sustainable society. It's based on the outlook of cosmic fraternity, that interconnectedness we've been talking about. It envisions a world united by a common philosophy, a universal constitutional structure, and a shared commitment to the well-being of all.
It's like a blueprint for global unity.
Yeah.
A world prioritizing cooperation and sustainability over competition and exploitation.
Exactly.
Right.
It also recognizes that true social progress depends on moral leadership,
Right.
not just political or economic power. Prout envisions Sadvipras holding centralized political power, while economic power is decentralized, giving local communities more control over their resources and livelihoods.
So it's about finding that balance between global cooperation and local autonomy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They believe cooperatives are the key to economic democracy, ensuring everyone has a stake in the system and benefits from its success.
That sounds like a much more equitable approach.
Yeah.
What else does Prout prioritize?
Prout emphasizes full local employment,
Okay.
making sure everyone has meaningful work and purchasing power.
Right.
It also calls for the rational distribution of wealth, ensuring everyone's basic needs are met while rewarding special skills and contributions.
It's a vision of a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive, not just survive.
Right.
What about technology and its role in all of this?
Prout believes that science should benefit all beings, not just profit or power. It should be guided by ethical principles and focused on solving humanity's real problems.
So not rejecting technology,
Right.
but using it wisely and responsibly.
Exactly. And this includes paying close attention to ecology.
Okay.
Prout emphasizes sustainable practices, from organic farming to renewable energy to protecting biodiversity.
Yeah.
It's recognizing that we are part of nature, not separate from it.
Right.
And our well-being depends on the health of the planet.
It's about finding that harmonious balance between human progress and environmental well-being.
Precisely. And finally,
Right.
Prout advocates for freedom of expression in all aspects of life that contribute to the collective good.
Right.
It's about creating a society that's not just sustainable and equitable, but also vibrant and diverse.
Right.
A world where everyone can express their creativity, pursue their spiritual path, and contribute to the well-being of the whole.
Wow, this deep dive has been an absolute whirlwind of information.
It has.
We've covered everything from meditation techniques to social revolution, from the intricacies of the human mind to the grand cosmic dance of creation and dissolution.
It's amazing how much ground this path covers, isn't it?
It really is.
And it all comes back to that central theme,
Right.
the pursuit of bliss, not just for ourselves, but for all beings.
I have to say, I'm feeling incredibly inspired right now.
Me too.
Yeah.
There's so much to contemplate and explore further.
Absolutely. But for now,
Okay.
we're going to take a little break.
All right.
Stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive into Ánanda Márga,
Yes.
where we'll explore even more fascinating aspects of this path to bliss.
I'm excited.
Me too.
Welcome back, deep divers. Before the break, we explored the foundational principles and practices of Ánanda Márga.
Right.
Now let's journey deeper into this fascinating realm of the human mind as understood in this tradition.
Okay, I'm ready for a mind-bending adventure.
Okay.
What can you tell us about how Ánanda Márga views the human mind?
They talk about koshas, which are layers of the mind,
Okay.
each with a unique function and potential for growth. Think of it like peeling back the layers of an onion.
Right.
Only instead of tiers, we find deeper levels of consciousness.
I love that analogy. So what are these layers all about?
There are 5 koshas,
Okay.
plus the physical body,
Okay.
which they call Annamaya kosha.
Ánanda Márga.
The food body, it's developed through what we eat,
Right.
how we move, and practices like asanas, Tandava, and Kaoshiki.
It's interesting how even the physical body is seen as a vehicle for spiritual growth,
Right.
not just something to be managed or indulged.
Exactly. It highlights that holistic nature of Ánanda Márga.
Yeah.
Then we have the Kamamaya kosha,
Kamamaya kosha.
the layer of desire,
Okay.
which governs our attraction and aversion to sensory stimuli.
Gotcha.
It's the part of us that gets hooked on that delicious slice of cake or
Yeah.
recoils from a spider.
It's like our primal instincts and desires, right?
Yes. It develops naturally through life experiences. But Ánanda Márga suggests that practicing Yama and Niyama can help refine and purify these desires
Right.
so they don't control us.
So it's about mastering our desires, not suppressing them.
Precisely. Next is the Manamaya kosha,
Okay.
the layer of thought, memory, and dreams,
Uh-huh.
where we experience pleasure and pain through our mental activity. It's like our inner world, where we create our own reality through thoughts and beliefs.
It seems like this layer has a lot of power.
It does.
Yeah.
And this kosha is shaped by both worldly experiences and spiritual practices like pranayama with cosmic ideation.
So we can actually use our breath and our thoughts to connect with that larger reality and shape our inner world.
Exactly.
Wow.
Now we move into the causal mind,
Okay.
the deeper layers most closely connected to the source of consciousness.
This is where it gets really interesting. What can you tell us about these deeper layers?
The first layer of the causal mind is the atimanasa kosha, the supramental mind.
Gotcha.
This is the realm of intuition, where we tap into flashes of insight,
Right.
creative inspiration, and deeper understanding. It's that aha moment when we suddenly see things in a new light.
That makes so much sense. We all have those moments of clarity and inspiration.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to think we can cultivate this aspect of our minds.
Exactly. Its natural development is through psychic clash,
Okay.
which can happen through intense life experiences.
Right.
However, it can also be cultivated through practices like shuddhis and guru puja.
So we're training our minds to be more receptive to the wisdom within.
Yes. And this leads us to the Vijnanamaya kosha,
Janamaya code.
the subliminal mind.
Okay.
This is the seat of our conscience, our values, and our ability to discern right from wrong.
Okay.
It's like our inner compass guiding us towards ethical choices.
It's incredible to think that we have this inner guide within us.
It is. Its natural development comes through both inner and outer challenges.
Okay.
And Ánanda Márga suggests that practicing dharana,
Right.
or concentration, can accelerate this process.
Gotcha.
By focusing our minds, we can strengthen our moral compass and make better decisions.
So it's not just about knowing what's right, but training our minds to consistently choose it.
Yes.
What about the final layer?
The Hiramaya kosha.
Hirayamaya kosha.
The subtle causal mind
Right.
is the most refined layer, where we come closest to experiencing pure, unadulterated consciousness.
Okay.
It's like the veil between our individual consciousness and that universal consciousness becomes almost transparent.
Wow. It's like a glimpse into the ultimate reality.
Exactly. Its natural development comes through attraction for the great,
Okay.
that which transcends our limited ego-centered desires. And dhyana, or meditation, helps us cultivate this yearning for the divine. It's a journey of refining our desires,
Right.
expanding our awareness, and ultimately merging with the source of all being.
It's mind-blowing to consider the potential that lies within our own minds.
It is.
But how does this model of the mind connect with the physical body?
This is where this fascinating field of biopsychology comes in.
Okay.
Ánanda Márga proposes that the mind interacts with the body through the network of chakras,
Right.
which correspond to the endocrine glands.
Okay.
Each chakra controls specific bodily functions
Right.
and is associated with certain mental and emotional tendencies.
So it's like those chakras we talked about earlier, but now they're also linked to our hormones and physical functions.
Exactly.
Wow.
For example, the Muladhara chakra at the base of the spine
Okay.
is associated with stability,
Oh.
survival instincts,
Okay.
and the element of earth.
Gotcha.
It's connected to the adrenal glands,
Right.
which release hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, responsible for our fight or flight response.
So if we're feeling stressed or anxious, it could be due to an imbalance in this chakra.
It's possible. By working with this chakra through specific practices, we can cultivate more grounding and stability in our lives.
Like we have this whole internal pharmacy we
Yeah.
can learn to access and utilize. What about the other chakras?
The Svadhisthana chakra, located in the pelvic area,
Okay.
is associated with creativity, sexuality, and the element of water.
Gotcha.
It's connected to the reproductive glands,
Okay.
which influence our emotions, relationships, and sense of pleasure.
It's amazing how each chakra seems to have such a profound impact on our physical, emotional, and mental well-being.
Yes. Then we have the Manipura chakra in the solar plexus,
Okay.
associated with willpower, self-esteem,
Okay.
and the element of fire.
Gotcha.
It's connected to the pancreas,
Right.
which regulates blood sugar and influences energy levels and motivation. If we're feeling sluggish or lacking confidence,
Yeah.
it could be related to this chakra.
So by understanding these connections, we can learn to work with our energy system
Right.
to create more balance and vitality in our lives. What about the remaining chakras?
The Anahata chakra, located in the heart center,
Okay.
is all about love,
Yeah.
compassion,
Okay.
and the element of air.
Gotcha.
It's connected to the thymus gland,
Right.
which plays a role in immunity and our ability to connect with others.
Okay.
When this chakra is balanced, we experience more joy, peace,
Yeah.
and harmony in our relationships.
It's beautiful how this system connects our physical health with our emotional well-being and spiritual growth.
Yeah.
What about the chakras associated with our higher functions?
The Vishuddha chakra in the throat
Okay.
is associated with communication,
Okay.
self-expression,
Okay.
and the element of ether. It's linked to the thyroid gland,
Right.
which regulates metabolism and influences our ability to articulate our thoughts and feelings.
Gotcha.
If we're having trouble speaking our truth or feeling heard, it could be related to this chakra.
It's fascinating how these subtle energy centers can have such a powerful impact on how we show up in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's the Ajioa chakra, located between the eyebrows, often called the third eye.
Right.
It's associated with intuition, wisdom,
Okay.
and the ability to see beyond the limitations of the physical world. It's connected to the pituitary gland,
Good.
often referred to as the master gland, because it regulates the activity of many other endocrine glands.
So it's like the control center of our endocrine system,
Right.
influencing our overall hormonal balance and our connection to our intuition.
Precisely.
Okay.
Finally, we have the Sahasrara chakra, located at the crown of the head,
Right.
associated with spiritual enlightenment,
Okay.
transcendence, and connection to the divine. It's connected to the pineal gland,
Right.
which is said to play a role in our sleep-wake cycles,
Yeah.
our perception of time, and our connection to higher realms of consciousness.
It sounds like the gateway to our spiritual potential,
Yeah.
where we transcend our limited sense of self and merge with the infinite.
Exactly. And all these chakras work together, creating a dynamic and interconnected system
Right.
that influences our overall health and well-being.
This is an amazing framework for understanding how our energy, our physical body, and our spiritual journey are all intertwined.
It truly is.
Yeah.
And it reminds us that we are not just physical beings,
Right.
but also energetic and spiritual beings. By understanding this subtle energy system, we can work with it to heal ourselves,
Yeah.
expand our awareness, and unlock our full potential.
It's so empowering to think that we have the power to influence our own well-being on so many levels.
Right.
Now, I'm curious about the history of Tantra and yoga, which I know are often mentioned in Ánanda Márga.
Right.
How do they fit into this whole picture?
So Tantra means that which liberates the mind from dullness by expansion.
Okay.
It's a system of practices designed to awaken our spiritual potential
Right.
and achieve liberation from suffering.
Okay.
And yoga, meaning to unify, is essentially another name for the same goal.
Okay.
Because expansion of consciousness ultimately leads to union with the divine.
So there are two paths leading to the same destination?
Precisely.
Okay.
Both have ancient roots.
Right.
Tantra is said to have been systematized by Lord Shiva thousands of years ago,
Wow.
encompassing a wide range of practices.
It sounds like Tantra encompasses a vast spectrum of human experience.
Yeah.
And what about the history of yoga?
Around 2,100 years ago, Patanjali attempted to reclassify these tantric techniques, often referred to as the eight-limbed path of yoga.
Oh, I've heard of the eight-limbed path.
You have.
It includes ethical guidelines,
Yes.
physical postures, breathing exercises, and meditation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Ánanda Márga draws on this eight-limbed path,
Mm-hmm.
but incorporates other elements from the original tantric system,
Okay.
creating a more comprehensive and integrated approach to spiritual practice.
Gotcha.
They weave together ancient wisdom and modern insights to
Right.
create a path relevant for contemporary seekers.
It sounds like they're honoring the ancient traditions while making them accessible to modern practitioners.
Yes.
Yeah.
They call this Rajadhiraj yoga,
Rajadhiraj yoga.
meaning the yoga of the King of Kings.
Okay.
It's about reclaiming our sovereign power,
Right.
our inherent divinity, and living a life of purpose, meaning, and bliss.
That's a powerful concept. It's like we're stepping into our true potential, not just as individuals, but as co-creators of a more enlightened and compassionate world.
Exactly. And this brings us back to Ánanda Márga's social philosophy,
Right.
which emphasizes living in harmony with ourselves,
Right.
each other,
Okay.
and the planet.
Okay, let's revisit that. How does Ánanda Márga suggest we create a more just and sustainable society?
They offer a multifaceted approach,
Okay.
including education,
Mm-hmm.
economic justice,
Right.
environmental sustainability,
Oh.
and spiritual leadership.
It's a lot to unpack. Let's break it down, starting with education. We
Yeah.
touched on this earlier, but can you remind us of the key points?
Certainly. Ánanda Márga believes education should be for liberation,
Okay.
empowering individuals to reach their full potential and contribute to society's well-being.
Mm-hmm.
They emphasize a balanced mind,
Okay.
both for teachers and students, encouraging a holistic approach that integrates physical, mental, and spiritual development.
Makes sense.
It's not just about cramming facts,
Right.
but nurturing hearts, bodies, and souls.
It's a beautiful vision for education. It sounds like they're really focused on cultivating well-rounded individuals who can contribute to a better world.
Exactly. And this holistic approach extends to their economic philosophy as well.
Let's dive into that.
Okay.
How does Ánanda Márga envision a more just and equitable economic system?
They advocate for Prout,
Right.
which we discussed earlier. It stands for Progressive Utilization Theory, a radical and visionary model
Okay.
that challenges many assumptions of capitalism and communism.
Gotcha.
It proposes a system based on cooperation,
Right.
sustainability, and the well-being of all.
I remember you mentioned it before. Can you remind us what makes Prout so unique?
Prout emphasizes economic democracy,
Okay.
where everyone has a say in how resources are managed and distributed.
Right.
They believe cooperatives are the best way to achieve this, allowing workers to share ownership and control of their workplaces.
So it's about empowering people, not just corporations.
Precisely. Prout also recognizes the importance of meeting everyone's basic needs.
Mm-hmm.
They advocate for a minimum standard of living
Okay.
that ensures everyone has access to food,
Right.
shelter, healthcare, and education.
Those sound like fundamental human rights.
They do.
Not privileges.
Exactly. They believe this is achievable through rational distribution,
Right.
where wealth is allocated based on need, merit, and
yeah.
social contribution, not
Right.
just profit or power.
It's about creating a system that benefits everyone, not just a select few. It's a bold vision,
It is.
but it's also incredibly hopeful.
It is. And Prout also recognizes the importance of incentives.
Right.
People should be rewarded for their hard work, creativity,
Yeah.
and contributions to society.
Makes sense.
It's not about eliminating competition altogether, but ensuring it's based on ethical principles and serves the common good.
So it's about finding that balance between individual motivation and collective well-being.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Prout also addresses environmental sustainability.
Okay. I'm eager to hear their perspective on this. How does Prout approach the environmental crisis?
Prout recognizes that we are part of nature, not separate from it,
Right.
and that our well-being is intertwined with the health of the planet.
Makes sense.
They advocate for sustainable practices in all areas,
Okay.
from agriculture and industry
Right.
to energy production and transportation.
It's about shifting our mindset from exploitation to harmony.
Exactly. Prout emphasizes local self-reliance,
Okay.
encouraging communities to grow their own food, produce their own energy,
Right.
and manage their own resources sustainably.
It's about empowering communities to take care of their own needs while respecting the natural world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And finally, Prout highlights the importance of spiritual leadership.
Right.
Remember those sadvipras we talked about?
I do.
They are crucial to Prout's vision.
But why are they so important in this context?
Sadvipras are those morally elevated individuals
Right.
who embody Prout's principles and dedicate themselves to serving the well-being of all.
Gotcha.
They are the visionaries,
Yeah.
peacemakers, healers, and educators who
Right.
guide society towards a just and sustainable future.
It's like they represent the highest potential of humanity,
Right.
inspiring us to strive for something greater than ourselves.
Exactly. Prout suggests that everyone has the potential to become a Sadvipra, to develop those qualities and contribute to collective well-being. It's a call to action,
Yeah.
an invitation to step into our power and become agents of positive change.
Wow.
It reminds us that the pursuit of bliss is not just a personal journey,
Right.
but a collective endeavor.
That's a powerful message. It's about recognizing our interconnectedness and our shared responsibility for creating a better world.
It is, and it's a perfect segue into our next topic.
Okay.
We're going to take a short break now,
Okay.
but stay tuned for part 3, where we'll delve deeper into the practical applications of these principles
Right.
and explore what it truly means to live a life of bliss.
Welcome back, deep divers. We've been on quite a journey exploring the philosophy and practices of Ánanda Márga,
It has been.
this path that truly blends personal transformation with social change.
It's been an incredible exploration so far, and I'm excited to delve deeper into the practical application of these principles and how we can integrate them into our daily lives.
Me too.
Yeah.
We've talked about these grand concepts like cosmic consciousness
Right.
and social revolution, but how do we bring this down to earth and make it relevant for our everyday lives?
That's a great question, and I think that's where Ánanda Márga's emphasis on action and service really shines.
Okay.
It's not just about understanding these principles intellectually,
No.
but embodying them in how we live, how we interact with others.
And how we contribute to the world around us.
So it's like turning philosophy into action,
Exactly.
taking those lofty ideas and weaving them into the fabric of our daily lives.
And Ánanda Márga offers so much practical guidance on how to do that.
Right.
Think back to those 16 points we discussed earlier.
Oh, yeah.
They cover everything from personal hygiene and diet to social service,
Right.
providing a roadmap for living a life that aligns with these principles.
And I think that's one of the most fascinating aspects of this path. It connects these seemingly mundane aspects of life to our spiritual growth.
It does.
It's like every action, every thought, every choice becomes an opportunity to practice these principles
Yeah.
and move closer to that state of bliss.
Absolutely. That's where the concept of sadhana comes in.
Okay.
It's the ongoing effort to cultivate our spiritual potential. And it encompasses all aspects of our lives.
Right.
From our meditation practice to our interactions with others to our care for the environment.
We're constantly refining ourselves, becoming more aligned with our true nature, and contributing to the evolution of consciousness itself.
It's a beautiful concept. It's like we're all on this grand journey of self-transformation, supporting each other's growth and contributing to something much bigger than ourselves.
Right.
But I imagine this journey isn't always easy.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
There must be challenges and obstacles along the way.
Of course.
How does Ánanda Márga guide us through those difficult times?
Well, they emphasize remembering our Ista, which means our most beloved, our ultimate goal.
Okay.
It's about staying connected to that deeper purpose, that yearning for bliss, even when things get tough.
Yeah.
It's like having a guiding star.
Yeah.
Something to orient ourselves towards when we feel lost or discouraged.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It's like remembering why we started this journey in the first place. You know?
Exactly.
That driving force that keeps us going even when the going gets tough.
And they also emphasize Adarsha, which is our ideology, our guiding principles.
Right.
In the context of Ánanda Márga, that means self-realization and the welfare of the universe.
Right.
It's about staying true to those values, to our commitment to personal and collective well-being,
Right.
even when faced with challenges.
It's like having a moral compass that helps us navigate those difficult decisions and stay aligned with our deepest aspirations.
Precisely.
Okay.
And they also offer practical guidance on navigating social situations,
Right.
communicating effectively, and resolving conflicts peacefully.
Wow.
It's like they've thought of everything,
Yeah.
equipping their followers with the tools and support they need to thrive in a complex and ever-changing world.
It's inspiring to see a path that addresses both the inner and outer dimensions of our lives, providing guidance for personal growth and social transformation.
It truly is a holistic system, and I think that's what makes this path so appealing. It's not just about abstract philosophy,
No.
but about living a meaningful and fulfilling life both individually and collectively.
Right.
It's a path that integrates the head, the heart, and the hands. It's a way of being that's both grounded and aspirational.
This deep dive has been an incredible journey.
It has.
We've covered so much ground,
We have.
and I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
I agree.
There's so much more to explore.
There is, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
The path itself is an ongoing exploration, a process of continual growth and discovery.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into Ánanda Márga.
Okay.
It's been an enlightening and inspiring adventure.
It has been my pleasure. I hope our listeners have found it as enriching as we have.
And to our listener, if you're feeling inspired by what you've heard, I encourage you to take a step further.
Yes.
Read more about Ánanda Márga. Try some of the practices, connect with a local community, or simply reflect on how these principles might resonate in your own life. Remember, the pursuit of bliss is not a destination, but a journey.
Right.
Every step we take toward greater awareness, compassion, and service brings us closer to that state of fulfillment that we all long for.
Beautifully said. Keep diving deep.
Yeah.
Keep exploring and keep seeking that which brings you joy and makes the world a better place.
Until next time, fellow knowledge seekers, keep those minds curious and those hearts open.